Josh Frydenberg's take on the likes of Google and Facebook. Is there enough teeth there to be able to bite back on those big companies and come in behind big media companies that need that money?
Well, I hope so. It's important for the future of journalism.
Yeah,
I guess
sure.
I'm not over the detail to the extent that, for instance, the CEO of News Corp, Michael Miller, is, and he says it's okay. So if he says it's okay, I assume it's okay. I noticed that Channel 9 are complaining a bit more about the concessions that were made at the last minute to the digital giants. So that's interesting. But I guess, if our company is happy, and having been in negotiations for months, it must be about to take a decent effect. Frydenberg was telling you, I think, that there might be commercial agreements struck anyway, and this will assist with that. So let's hope that's the case.
Just on to the demerging of unions, that looks like that's going to go through today, right?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one because Tony Maher is the one who wants to split the CFMEU. He's had discussions with Christian Porter. I know a few weeks ago he had lunch with Anthony Albanese. He's a long-time friend of Anthony Albanese, and we know Anthony Albanese, one of his first acts was to kick John Setka out of the Labor Party when he became opposition leader, the CFMEU leader. So I think the Albanese side's quite sympathetic to this, and that's why this is one IR issue that won't be a battle. Yeah. The ability to demerge.
Do you think, though, that in the weeks and months ahead, there will be the potential for kind of territorial battles that might take place between the unions and, in particular, the CFMEU now, and that will kind of distract itself from actually helping its members?
Well, that might be the case, but if the miners want to be separate from the construction workers, why shouldn't they be? So. There's always difficulties with union leadership perhaps being focused on politics as opposed to what their members want, but that's a balance all union leaders have to strike. I think in terms of a change and effect on people's lives, that's for obvious reasons the least controversial of the legislation. Yeah. The better off overall test and the treatment of casuals. It'd be interesting to see the detail, if it comes into effect, what changes happen in the committee process, bearing in mind I think the government expects some changes. And then once it's practically implemented, what change it actually brings. Does it bring positive change, or does it do what the unions say and cuts a whole lot of wages and conditions?
Isn't it good to get a big and complex and complicated issue such as IR in the final week of Parliament this year for everyone to try and get their heads around?
Yeah. Well, that's the other advantage in doing it now. Everyone's thinking of their holiday.
That's right. Yeah, true.
Whereas if you did it last week, we would have been talking about it for 2 weeks. So it's pretty cynical from the government, from my point of view.
Yeah.
But at least they're doing something. And I've been a critic for a time saying the government doesn't do enough on the reform side, so I can hardly bag them over this now.
Yeah.